I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Hello there, and welcome to Mandotheory. Today I'll be talking about Order 66, who executed it, what it did, and how it succeeded. Let's get into the video. So the first thing we need to know about Order 66 is how it came about and how the clones were forced to do it all at once. They had these things called biochips, or more commonly known as inhibitor chips, inside their head. These were installed there by Dyas, a Jedi we hear about for very briefly during Attack of the Clones, the movie. He is then assassinated by Count Dooku because Dooku wanted to be able to change the orders on the chips so that they would be able to hunt down and kill all the Jedi. Order 66 had been planned for almost 15 years. No, actually more than that. It'd be like 30 years by then. And so Palpatine had planned this and convinced Dooku to help him. Dooku had impersonated another Jedi and installed Order 66 into them, which the Kaminoans, Prime Minister Lama Su, and Chief Medical Scientist Nala Su thought was just to help annihilate rogue Jedi who went and started working with the Separatists. But what it was really for was to help the Separatists and basically Palpatine kill all the Jedi at once. The Kaminoans were not in on this plan at all. But later on, a bunch of other orders they had in them. These are just some of them. I don't know all the orders, but Order 66, which was to kill all the Jedi. Order 37, which was to kill every single human or living being in a city. And Order 35, Order 65, which was to have the clones attack the Chancellor if the clones were no longer fit for duty because he was a Sith Lord and could just kill them all instantly. Or so he thought. If they all went against him, he probably would have won. The clones could not resist against the inhibitor chips very long, only for a few minutes. We see Rex resist against it, but he couldn't do it for very long. Just long enough for Ahsoka to knock him out and remove the inhibitor chip. And after she removed it, he was just fine and acting just like normal. The inhibitor chip, all it did was make it so that the clones' brains were temporarily taken over, so they had no idea what they were doing, and why they're perfectly fine turning and all their friends and commanders after they'd served with them for almost 15 years. Order 66 was almost unveiled in the Clone Wars animated show. It was almost executed due to a malfunction in the biochips in CT-5385, or TOP, as it was more commonly known. He killed his Jedi leader and was brought back to Coruscant for questioning and to be looked at. And then Palpatine looked at him and he tried killing Palpatine, or so Palpatine claimed. Palpatine actually had him drugged so that he would do that, but nobody else knew this. And then after that, he was captured and brought to Kamino to be studied by the scientists there and see what went wrong with his chip. Nobody knew what it was for. The Jedi didn't even know they had these chips until that time, and the Kaminoan assured them it was just to help hunt down rogue Jedi. And Shakti actually believed him. If she'd wanted to, she could have found out, but she didn't really care enough. Which is why, if she'd cared enough, she could have prevented all of Order 66 and saved the Jedi Order. But she did not. And was why only person who actually cared after Tup was an ARC Trooper 5s. He was able to remove his own inhibitor chip, but he started going crazy because of it, because he didn't know how to do it properly, and instead hurt his brain in the process. He ended up going crazy. He tried killing several clones. He also captured Anakin Skywalker, Commander Rex, and Commander Cody. He lectured them for several minutes on the inhibitor chips. They didn't believe him because they thought he was crazy, and they tried shooting Anakin. That brought Commander Thorne and the rest of the Coruscant Guard, and they killed him. The last thing we hear him say to Commander Rex is, "The mission's the nightmares. They're finally over." Because the clones all have the exact same nightmare every single night. All of them. Of them all in a huge war against faceless enemies, and they're all face fighting, and they're never going to win. And they're always pushing forward, no matter how many of them die. It's really sad that they're all forced to do this because of the inhibitor chips. Palpatine used Order 66, or the Jedi attacking him, as a reason to pull Order 66. He said the Jedi had gone rogue, and that the clones were part of the Empire, and the Grand Army of the Republic, and that now the Jedi were enemies. And that is why all the clones were perfectly fine with killing the Jedi, because of their inhibitor chips. Which is why Order 66 worked so well, and succeeded. Only 2 Jedi survived. Kenobi because he tricked his clones, and Yoda because the Wookiees helped him kill all the clones that tried attacking him. And Palpatine just barely survived long enough. He only executed the order after Anakin helped him beat Mace Windu and survive. That is why Order 66 was, what it did, and why Palpatine was able to execute it, and how it succeeded. It was in every single clone. There were only some who were able to desert the army and take it out. And actually, they just buried it, and they didn't even know it was there. They were lucky there were no Jedi near them, so they did not have to follow through with Order 66. Because even if the clones did not hear about Order 66, their chips were all connected. And Palpatine also made them do it, even if they didn't have to hear the orders. It just made more sense for the movies for him to tell them to execute it, and it seemed a lot cooler. One last quote between Ahsoka and Rex, or Commander Rex, in one of the last episodes of the Clone Wars, was, Ahsoka says, "How widespread is this?" And Rex responds, "Ahsoka, it's all of us. The entire Grand Army of the Republic has been ordered to hunt down and destroy the Jedi Knights." It shows that every single clone had it. There were only about 5 or 10 who could resist, and they were just barely able to do it long enough for someone to help them remove their inhibitor chips. Once Rex was also logic before Ahsoka could do that, and realized that she wasn't technically a Jedi anymore, but his inhibitor chip didn't care and still made him do it. He could only hold off for a few seconds. Order 66 went on throughout the entire lifespan of the Empire, and the Jedi kept being hunted down by the Inquisitors after the clones had all been killed. The Inquisitors were basically old temple guards and Force-sensitive brought up in the ways of the dark side by Lord Vader, and made to just hunt Jedi and young Force-sensitive children, so that only the Force-sensitive ones would be Darth Vader, Palpatine, anyone they decided to train. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more content like this. I'll see you next time. Mandotheory, out.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.